Hello, my name is Lexy Carter, and in this video, I will be giving an overview of my final portfolio for RC 2001. For my semester topic, I decided to focus on how experiencing racism can affect a minority's mental and physical health. This is a topic I am personally passionate about, as well as one that connects to my field of study, psychology. I hope that through my writing, I am able to educate others that may not be aware of the impacts racism can have, as well as inspire others to make a change in their own actions or call out friends and family members who could intentionally or unintentionally be causing some of this harm. For my welcome page, I decided to include a little bit of information about myself, as well as some more information as to why this topic is so important to me. And for the images, I included a picture of myself, as well as some pictures from Black Lives Matter protests and rallies to give more of a personal and emotional feel to the portfolio. Before getting into the rest of the video, I want to talk about how my understanding of this topic has evolved through focusing on only one topic all semester long. Although I knew beforehand that racism does have a negative impact on the health of minorities, I never knew the extent of the problems, especially physical, that it could really have, including actual biological changes to brain structures. I am someone that advocates for the proper treatment of everyone, and working on this topic all semester long and reviewing many different sources has given me more information to share and helped me be more confident that my information is correct. I also want to talk about how my work in this class has impacted my view of the psychological field. Psychology has always been important and interesting to me, but this assignment has given me a new appreciation for psychological studies and information and helped me to see how much time and effort is truly put into a study. I am relatively new to my major, and this has better informed me of the process of a psychological study, furthered my confidence in knowing psychological results are greatly helpful and impactful to those who do not have a voice for themselves, and given me hope that results from these psychological studies can one day help us to have a more informed and accepting society. For my annotated bibliography, I chose different reliable sources that would help me create my products for this topic. I consider this assignment to be the first building block towards my final project. This piece was one of the first I have done where I had to accurately reference multiple different academic sources, so I struggled at first with the proper APA formatting. The main revision I made throughout my drafts was correcting my formatting through peer revision and help from my professor. If you look at these two excerpts from two different drafts, you can see some of the changes that I made, such as I added an ampersand in between the two different authors. I took out the month from the date because it's just not necessary in this type of referencing. I also included the journal volume and issue, which wasn't in the first draft, and I also changed the formatting of the DOI from a hyperlink into the proper formatting. I feel as though I accomplished many of the course goals throughout the semester, but one I feel relates strongly to this assignment is locating, evaluating, analyzing, synthesizing, and incorporating primary and/or secondary sources appropriate to genre and discipline. Finding appropriate sources for this assignment and topic took a lot of research, as this is a topic that risks having bias. But the assignments and education from this class have given me the skills to now be able to locate a reliable source by doing things such as looking at the publication date, author credentials, the journal it was published in, and other things. I also feel that this assignment helped me with producing texts in various genres and formats for various disciplines. This assignment helped me to be able to learn proper APA formatting, which is very important for my major, and the revision process and professor feedback helped me to realize my mistakes, and multiple different drafts over the course of the semester helped to ingrain the proper formatting of APA into my education. For my public genre, I created an informative blog aimed towards the general public to convey the information I had found over the semester. Since my genre was aimed at the general public and everyone has access to the internet, choosing an informative blog was a very accessible choice. Also, talking about racism can be a hard topic for some, so by making a more casual choice in my genre, I can give a more relaxed feel to the conversation while still stressing its importance. Although I'm not able to give a side-by-side comparison of my draft versus the final product, due to the website being updated when I made revisions, I can briefly go over some of the revisions made throughout my drafts, as well as explaining the decision-making process about my website layout. In terms of the layout that I decided to use in the information for my website, I decided to go with the same order of information given to me in the paper that I was referencing for this assignment. I did this because I thought that the order went very well and helped the information to flow smoothly, and I didn't feel the need to make any changes. I also added some images throughout my website, and the main purpose of these images was to create kind of an emotional feel within my readers. Some of the revisions I made to the final product of my website include adding a hyperlink right here in the introductory paragraph to a link to the study that I was referencing in this to help kind of give some more credibility. I also had to make a few sections more visually striking, such as this one. I had this down here previously. This was not as big and bold, and this is a really important section, so I kind of just merged all of this together. Another change that I made was adding this image in here at the bottom, because beforehand these two sections just were together with no visual walking them up, and it kind of made the information feel like it was running together too much. Another component of my public genre was creating a reflection to talk about the decisions I made in my genre that I discussed previously. One of the other revisions I discussed in my reflection was my choice to make an actual website instead of a paper formatted as a website to really give it a legit public genre feel. Although this made this assignment a lot more time consuming, I am very pleased with how my genre turned out, and I'm glad I took the extra step to make it the best it could be. This assignment also ties in with the course goal of producing text in various genres and formats for various disciplines, as this reflection had to be produced in MLA format. The only revision that needed to be made was I had originally had my heading inside of the header, and I needed to take that out and put it in the body instead. My literature review is the final product of the multiple assignments I did over the semester. The other two assignments included in this portfolio were the main components of developing this piece. I narrowed down the main topics of this paper to include examples of racism, mental health impacts from racism, physical health impacts from racism, and institutionalized racism. Over the course of developing this assignment, I made two very important revisions. The first one was bettering my use of synthesis to tie all my information together. We can see how this change was made by reading these excerpts from one draft to the final product. In this draft, I end the paragraph with just information from a source without synthesizing to explain how all the information went together. The end of this draft reads, "Overall, discrimination experienced within healthcare and while receiving treatment leads to a general disapproval of the healthcare system in minorities." After feedback, I was able to turn this into a more synthesized paragraph that reads, "Overall, discrimination experienced within healthcare and while receiving treatment leads to a general disapproval of the healthcare system of minorities. Racism leads to decreasing mental health of minorities, and then they are not able to receive the proper care that they need due to institutionalized racism, a problem unable to be solved by the same thing that created it." By including this in my final draft, I was able to better synthesize my information and explain the point that I was trying to make. The second big revision that I made was going more in depth with my information. As someone who is passionate about this topic and is majoring in psychology, one of the most difficult parts of this project was aiming my information towards a general audience. There were things I talked about that are well known to me, so I assumed that they would be to other people as well. An example of how I fix this is going much more in depth when discussing microaggressions and what they are. In my draft, I gave a very brief definition of what a microaggression is, which reads, "Minorities also deal with something called microaggressions, which is defined as a comment or action that subtly and often unconsciously or unintentionally expresses a prejudiced attitude toward a member of a marginalized group. These acts or words can seem subtle or unharmful, but actually can have a severe impact on minority groups." And then I gave some brief examples of what a microaggression is and explained how it can have impacts on a minority. While in my final product, I stated what a microaggression is, recognized the 3 different types of microaggressions, as well as giving an example for each to help further my readers' understanding of what a microaggression is. I also included that they can seem subtle or unharmful, and included the impacts that they can have. And then I also included evidence from another study about how this can have an impact on minorities' well-being. Both of these changes greatly helped my final product to be much more accessible and professional. To wrap things up, I'd like to further discuss how much growth I feel I have made over the course of this class. Possibly one of the most important goals I met in this class is recognizing that writing is a process that requires generating ideas, drafting, sharing, revising, editing, and proofreading one's own written products. I've always been someone who naturally had an interest and proficiency in writing, so sometimes I overlooked how crucial it is to revise and proofread my pieces. Having to produce scholarly level products in this class has helped me realize that editing and revising carefully is something that is very important, regardless of how confident you are in your writing abilities. I have always been someone that treats a first draft as a final product and doesn't always place importance on the formation of new and better ideas throughout the draft process, which has changed greatly in this class due to the production and revision of multiple drafts for each assignment. The peer revision I received from this class also helped me to realize mistakes and revisions needed to be made that I was not able to realize, and I have gained the skills necessary to be able to help others in the same way. I also want to talk about how I have evolved over the course of the semester as a researcher and a writer. My writing has improved in the sense that I am now much better at synthesizing, which is a term that I didn't even know existed before this class. My formatting knowledge and skills have improved, I am better at organizing information, and selecting information that is the most important. Reviewing multiple psychological studies has helped me to be a better researcher that can locate a reliable source, better understand the process of a study, and come to better conclusions. I feel that this portfolio is a great way to show the progress that I have made throughout this class, as well as to share a topic that is very important to me. Thank you for taking the time to listen and review the projects that I spent so much time on.